Hi, Leo Sun and Rising. Welcome to your February 2024 Astro Update. It's Rena here. Well, I did your opposite sign Aquarius's reading not too long ago. I actually did it twice in the last couple of days. And I was just saying how amazing it's going to be for Aquarians because there's so much energy in uh, their sign, and that includes Pluto going into Aquarius in the third week of January. So you even have this long range planet in Aquarius, as well as the sun and all this stuff. A new moon there in February. So I had to do the opposite sign of Aquarius because Leo, you're going to feel this in your seventh house of committed partnership. And this is a general reading, so I mean, for some of you, you might have some Aquarius in your sixth house, and so that might be something where you're experiencing work issues coming up, and maybe a great emphasis as some of these plants begin to transit, and then maybe they go into seventh house. It really doesn't matter because it's all unfolding regardless of exactly the time. So we're just going to deal with this as a theme. So be prepared for relationship issues to really be something that you are focusing on. And it's not just your significant other. This can have to do with clients, this can have to do with business partnerships, and there's nothing that suggests it's going to be overtly negative or on the positive side. I mean, it could go either way depending on individual people's lives. Like, for instance, with relationships, I mean, I'm talking about marriage partners, like spouses and the equivalent. Same thing there. It depends on what the relationship was like before. So Pluto in the seventh house can simply mean that if you're already in a relationship, that your relationship will undergo a metamorphosis, a transformation, and the whole point is to become deeper, for it to become more profound. That's the influence of Pluto. However, sometimes things are not that way, and they cannot be because that the relationship was for a season. So in those cases, it will root out the decay. That's what Pluto is known for, and the person will have to face something that is rotting from within. Um, this is the kind of thing, it's sometimes I get like the similar vibe as with Saturn, because Saturn went through Aquarius until March of 2023. And so for the almost 3 years, probably from, I think it was 2020 to 2023. I can't remember exactly when Saturn went into Aquarius. Yeah, it had to be because I think it was during the shutdown. So in those years when Saturn was in Aquarius, some of you may have had relationships that fell by the wayside. And that didn't even have anything to do with Pluto at that time. It was simply that Saturn was creating more, you could call them tests, or making things a little bit more serious so that you had to face matters head on. And there is this saying that I read somewhere that when Saturn goes through the seventh house, if the relationship is on shaky ground, that could be the nail in the coffin. But if it's a relationship that is basically sound, then it will just get stronger. Saturn is about foundations and it's about the long haul. Some things don't survive the long haul. They're not built to last. They're not meant to last. So just keep that in mind while Pluto is in that seventh house. And welcome transformation. If you really feel deeply in love and aligned with your partner, then perhaps one of the best things you can do as a couple is maybe heal together and with a specific modality that you're both actively engaged in. Maybe you go and do some kind of spiritual practice that transforms you with your partner, like you're not doing it alone. So then you can grow together rather than grow apart. So on the 5th, Mercury goes into the 7th house. This can lead to, communicating or negotiation. The 7th house is really about negotiations. This is Libra's domain, and this is Libra's, what's that word? This is their jam, that wasn't really the word I was looking for. This is their specialty, is to be able to mediate things, get things harmonious. And if there's something that you need from your partner, this can be the time that you bring it up. Also, any kind of legal matter, receiving a summons or filing a lawsuit. This is paperwork with Mercury sometimes. On the 9th, we have a new moon at 20 degrees of Aquarius. So this area is seeing a new moon. Filing for divorce. That could certainly be the case. Maybe Pluto was the nail in the coffin. But yeah, so this can be a new day dawning. And I have seen it where somebody is getting divorced, that the new moon is in the 7th house. Typically you might assume that it would be the full moon in Aquarius that would bring about some sort of ending in that relationship, because full moons can be endings, but they can also be the finding out phase where you find out about something. And then, comes deciding what to do about it. And the new moon can really plant new seeds about new actions that are being taken. Like, this is a very forward moving time because all the planets are direct in the months of February and March. And if you're listening in January, this is also going to be true after January 27th, when Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, goes direct. So there's a lot of this Aquarius energy, either, directly through the sign or through the planet Uranus. And this can be kind of speedy, meaning that if things have been kind of dragging, things that you were trying to put into motion were just kind of like, maybe you're spinning your wheels and whatnot, all of a sudden things might be going faster than even you can handle. And you might be going, whoa, 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 slow down here. And you may not like it that much because you might be much more inclined to having it be somewhere in between, which I can totally understand. It's like feast or famine, right? On the 13th, Mars goes into Aquarius. Now, Mars has that combative energy, so there might be something that feels like a fight. It feels like a conflict. And this may be because you've had to kind of communicate something to someone about something. Something to someone about something. Mars doesn't always have to be something negative. It can be something that is connected to just increased activity. If this is relationship related, it can mean that you are Yeah, I mean, you're turning over a new leaf. Maybe you're having more sexy time with your partner. Mars can be the libido. And so with the new moon here, you may have made some kind of sudden intention. We're going to spend more time together um, in that way. And I mean, there may have been other challenges that kind of made you decide that that was the best route to take, but all's well that ends well. I mean, the point is that this can be a time where you are actually making these things happen, and it can feel very aligned. Like maybe exercising together. And and it's always like when you exercise with a partner, it can kind of, I don't like the term hold yourself accountable, but it can be a kick in the butt in the sense, you have somebody else that's sharing a goal with you. And this can even be a close friend, by the way. And in my neighborhood, I do see, like, for instance, women who are working out together. I mean, fast walking and things like that. And I think that's wonderful because I think it does increase the likelihood that somebody's going to stick to something. But this could be like a legal battle too that is heating up. On the 16th, Venus goes into this sector. So Venus can smooth out any ruffled feathers. The seventh house is ruled by Venus in the sign of Libra. So Venus is in her own domain, and that can feel very good as it pertains to matters of the heart. And so like I said, with Mars, maybe you feel like your physical relationship has suffered for some reason. Now Venus, this could be having a date night, having, romance come back into your relationship. This can be money that you obtain because of some kind of legal matter. On the 18th, the sun goes into Pisces, and for Leo individuals, this is going to be your eighth house. So now, with the sun and then on the 23rd, Mercury going into the eighth, yes, this is a very deep place, and this can be about intimacy, not just physical intimacy, but emotional intimacy, trusting somebody deeply enough to share things that are very sensitive to you and not being afraid that somebody is going to betray you, betray your trust. Okay? And, but this is also the area of the occult. So with Mercury in particular, this could be, taking on a course of studies that has to do with astrology, the tarot, metaphysics, anything of that nature. And it's also the house of shared resources. So this can be something where you are maybe learning, receiving paperwork. Maybe you receive something in the mail about your partner's finances, and you're like, you open it thinking, hey, we're together, or maybe it is a joint account, but something that you haven't checked, and you open some kind of uh, letter and you find out that that person has cleaned out the bank account. Maybe they have a gambling addiction. I'm just, letting my mind go crazy here, or run wild, my imagination. But just things like that, and it can be a shock to the system. Oh my God, I had no idea that this person was doing this. And of course, something like that can feel very upsetting if it has occurred, because you may feel like you never saw it coming. But it doesn't have to be that. It could just be something. I mean, if you have a legal matter, it might be an inheritance. Eighth house specializes in inheritances because it's also the house of death. So it might be some kind of paperwork about some kind of inheritance. And you already have Neptune here and you already have Saturn here. So you're dealing with long-term issues concerning other people's money anyhow. On the 24th, the very next day, there's a full moon at 5 degrees of Virgo. So full moons in the second house can indicate increase in finances. Um, Typically, we would say the money that you're earning by the sweat of your brow, but I definitely would keep that more open-ended because I have experienced, I'm not talking about specifically full moon, but like Jupiter in my second house and receiving money from a source where I didn't work for it. So please don't um, take things literally, because sometimes I would rather just look at this theme in a much more open-ended way. And yeah, so that could be something that is occurring. And wouldn't that be wonderful, huh? But any kind of bonus, raise, even ending of an income stream, maybe you're retiring, Leo, maybe you are relocating and you're leaving your current employer or you're starting your own business. Full moons can be that as well. This can even be in terms of understanding better your self-esteem. Second house can be your net worth, but it can be your self-worth. And saying, wow, I didn't realize that I was kind of allowing myself uh, to ignore things that were not right that somebody else was doing, and vowing to be more loving to yourself. Okay, that's what I have for you, Leo. I hope that this resonated. Um, just to let you know, you guys are having a full moon in your sign on January 25th, in case you're listening before then. Or even if you're listening a couple days afterwards, the energy will still be very high for that full moon. And this can bring some kind of closure to something in your life, or some kind of awareness to you about how you are presenting yourself to other people. Typically, Leos, especially Leo rising, you could say, are very flamboyant. They're very like the life of the party, but sometimes the if that is your rising sign and your sun sign is something else, you may be quite introverted ultimately. And you kind of put up this, you know, front of being very extroverted when it really isn't your true nature, is basically what I'm trying to say. Okay, that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. I have some package deals for astrology that you may be interested in, like my deep dive reading, an hour of natal chart analysis, and an hour of transits for 2024, even going into a little bit of 2025, because now we're actually in the month of January of 2024. I do 12 months in advance, in other words. And so that's 2 hours total at least. And I'm trying to shut up because I tend to go on and on. And that is for $85.85 US dollars. That price is subject to change, but it certainly is a lot lower than if you bought those readings separately. And I have a lot of other kinds of readings, love readings and career readings and whatnot. You can find out more information at the link below. I'm at RainaMoonAstrology.com. Thank you so much for listening, Leo. Take care. Bye.